Visit GoArmy.com and learn about 150 different career opportunities available now. Esports and U.S. Army working together to make things better. We're here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. I'm Corey Dunn. I'm joined with Jonathan O. And we've watched two really good best of ones in terms of just seeing some really good gameplay. And those two teams that were out of those two games were actually UTD and Kansas State. We saw a lot from them and had some really, really awesome shots come out there. But kind of catching you all up in case you're just now joining us, this is how it has shaped up thus far. Our very first matchup we had UTD versus Florida Gulf Coast University. That was 16-9. That was on Overpass. Then we watched a 16-6 game on Mirage between Kansas State and UTA. Kansas State looked really, really good, and so we'll see how this one goes out. As now we're at the 2 o'clock matchup, the upper bracket round finals for Group H. And of course, this will also decide, and I didn't write this down, and that's what I get. Didn't write who they were going to be facing off against.
St. Clair.
St. Clair College. That's probably why, because there's only two teams left. It's St. Clair and RMU who are waiting for these teams. And so whoever wins this matchup between UTD and Kansas State will be facing off against St. Clair, as Jono yelled into our ears.
You are very welcome.
Thank you very much.
You want me to do it again?
No, it's all good. So let's start by looking at UTD and their roster. For University of Texas, Dallas, we've got Adolfo, we've got Alloy, we've got ASOS, and UK, or so goodness, well, that's a different letter, YKZ. I wanted to say Yakuza, because that's what his actual name is we've got, all right, so that's from YKZ, and then we also have Sir Trix coming out at you here for UTD or UT Dallas. As it's been referenced as well. So ASOS was really strong whenever you had a lot of entry rounds. Sir Trix it really kind of locked down bomb sites as well. Overall, just generally a good team. One of the things that you had mentioned as well is really we didn't see a whole lot of opping AWPs coming out from UTD in the earlier parts of the rounds. So we'll see what they can be able to conflict with. Is now on the flip side, you've got Kansas State. For Kansas State, you've got Knack, Devil, Mild, Pure Penguins, and Rob. So we'll be on the lookout. Knack, so Noah Cox, he had we saw a lot of him because he had some really awesome op shots all the way through the game and really locking it down. Of course, they were facing off against UTA, and so we'll pay attention to that. Now, it's time for the pick bands, and how did they shape up? We'll take a look now. As Kansas State had the second pick, they had the second seed, so they are the first pick because UTD elected to pick second. And so Kansas State had banned Dust 2, which is similar to what they did last time, so we'll remember that. Then they banned Inferno, which is what they did last time against UTA. And then they've also banned, oh goodness, I did that wrong. That was actually, they banned Vertigo. That's what I get for writing and talking at the same time. And then Kansas State also banned Train. And then on the flip side for UTD, they had banned Mirage, which of course they just saw Kansas State play Mirage. They saw how effective they were. They also banned Inferno. And then that left the last two maps, which Overpass and Nuke. And so they ended up banning Overpass. And I believe it's probably more about the fact that they didn't want to have us endure Overpass. Because again, Adolfo has been helping us all the way through this, and so he knows the pain that we've gone through. And that brings us into our final map. It's going to be on Nuke here between these two teams. And what do you got here for me?
Something I want to point out here is that between these bans, the only team, or excuse me, it kind of makes sense that if we look through the history of these bans, Nuke being the last option, in the last series, neither of them actually bans Nuke. So coming out to this map now makes sense.
Interesting, yeah.
Both of them banned Dust 2, and then Overpass is what slipped through on the side of UTD, but the only overlap they had was Dust 2 in the sense of their first round ban. So UTD had Mirage, Vertigo, and Dust 2 against FGCU, and then Kansas State had Dust 2, Overpass, Inferno. So seeing the bans coming out actually makes sense, and it came down to Overpass versus Overpass versus Nuke, and seemingly that Overpass was banned from Kansas State previously. I don't think it makes Excuse me. UTD is actually the one that banned it last. So they banned Overpass last, which got us the nuke. And I'm not actually. I think it makes sense if they're willing to not ban it both times. Maybe there's some things that they're comfortable with. We saw yesterday very strong B site holds from Dead O, in which they were not successful. They were successful in the end. It was just a different case. They played nuke twice that max. Yeah. It was a little bit different in that situation, but it seems like we're getting our knife round underway. And Corey, some of the things to look at on this map, as we mentioned, the AWP was a big factor for both of these teams. We saw Alloy being very strong, not on the T side, but the CT side. And then we just saw NAC doing it all both sides. So I'm not sure if nuke is necessarily the strongest map for an AWP. We'll see a lot of it outside, and I think that's how they'll have to take those battles.
Sometimes you'll see an AWPer play. I mean, of course, they're more likely to play outside, but there's also a sense where they will play ramp room, and they play aggressively with that AWP, or they play hyper passive. They're not in the middle. They're not in ramp room. They're usually playing very aggressive and push forward to be able to get a pick and then fall back, or they're actually playing over there towards ladder, but still watching over ramp if they're playing there. Very, very unlikely to see them on the inside, and so we'll pay attention to that.
And before we get into this one map, I just want to make one call out. As you said perfectly, the AWP can be very passive, and that's what we saw from Astralis and Device. And as we know it, they had a 20-something map win streak on this very map, Nuke. And that's where we're taking this map. So we'll have to see how the AWPs play up, but we won't see it here, as this is just the pistol round to start off. We see a very fast hit and going into the B site.
Devils, he could have come right into one. He actually had to fight. Oh, man, he could have done so much more damage with that. And there you go. ASOS actually sees one going up the ladder. He tries to chase him to take advantage of it. Not going to happen. And now Sir Trix, the last one alive. He will get the bomb planted, so there's some positives coming from this round. But Sir Trix says, hey, I might have a chance. I was down to that last one. And but there you have it. Kansas State picking up the pistol round.
Yeah, that was. Hey, look at that! Another team ace.
Oh, hey, all right.
So funny enough, as we've always said, we have not seen that today, and I think that's the first in every opening pistol round that we've seen in the matches today have been a team ace. And is that the MP5 making its first appearance? Have we seen that gun yet? I don't believe we have. I know we've seen the P90. We've seen the P90.
I feel like I've seen it before, but yes, we'll go if this is a rare sighting for the MP5.
That's for sure. As now we're seeing instead of the AWP, ooh, Adolfo, actually, I was just about to talk about that scout, but it's no longer in the round as the Deagle prevails. We've seen many times, and we've said that a lot this tournament. We're on board with Adolfo here. He's on top of many. Pure Penguin's pushing around with that MP7, and it looks like he's bound to find Sir Trix, and he sure will. Doesn't continue pushing on forward outside, but it's a 4v3 and actually in the favor of, I was about to say UTD, but it's in the favor of Kansas State. It's now 4v2. The last two players outside, and the bomb is down. I can't tell if it's the back of the lobby or, oh, it's actually outside, and that's going to be Devilfying Alloy, leaving it up to Adolfo. So we started the round with him. He found the pick onto NAC with that scout, and now he's got it all to do to himself. 4 players trying to maneuver away as he sits on the top of many.
Yeah, there's only one angle that he really has to watch, and that's what he's doing right now. Of course, he's expecting them. He hears a lot of noise. Oh, and the timing.
I'm sure they heard that.
Maybe. I don't know. He could have been just away from it. They're not reacting as if they heard it, though. And you see Adolfo hears so much noise now around him. And yeah, just the one angle as he was pushing through lobby. As that round will go to Kansas State.
And no surprise there. They did win the pistol, as guns versus pistols is generally what will take it. We have seen many times pistols prevailing, but that's not an example of that, as we now see the rifles coming out for UTD, and we saw how much damage they were able to do. On the flip side, we're seeing Kansas State, I would say, wisely staying with their SMGs. They're not trying to over-invest. They don't want their money to be broken in the case. They know AKs are coming out now for UTD.
Yeah, they didn't upgrade it, so they're definitely playing this to look for the first real gun round. They want to make sure their gun round is solid. They have all the weapons that they want for the rest of the game. So that's what their plan is, not to just kind of upgrade what they got and then kind of piecemeal the rest of the game.
Exactly. And to which, like I said, I feel like I agree with that. And if they're able to win this round on top of that, that's just the cherry on top. Because then they can have that money and then take AKs for themselves. Obviously, they would have to win the round first and survive with enough members to make it impactful. But one NK would do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd still be happy with the round. As we now see Devil poking up through the stairs there. Ooh, Mild, he's found one. He's not able to connect the shots with the Deagle. That is Devil still once again poking through, doing a lot of damage. They now know he's here, and Alloy's going to hold the angle, and actually he's losing out on that trade as Devil's the last one alive. He actually finds the kill. As we mentioned, Corey, the objective here was perhaps to see what they can do with these MP9s. See what damage they can do, and they've done a lot of damage, but they've only killed one person. He now finds himself the AK. The bomb has gone down in the meantime. He does have a kit. So if he's able to find a good amount of trades, not trades, but picks, does not, Adolfo closes out, Y2's, YKZ takes out the round. Corey, you're not the only one who's slipping on their letters today, so fear not. As it's 2-1 on the board for Kansas State.
Yeah, so this is where we're going to see Kansas State buy everything that they wanted. But did they? Doesn't look like they did. Their economy was completely reset by losing that round, and maybe giving them a little too much credit. Because they could have probably done very much the same thing that they just did by, I don't know. We'll have to maybe reassess what happened in the third round. I don't believe Knack would have been able to get himself an op, but I can't recall now. But now they're working here. You see Alloy's already made his way through Secret. He's going to be met here with Pure Penguins. Quick little headshot there. Now he's got himself an AK. And actually, Pure Penguins could have picked up a grenade. Not a big detail, just a little one. And Devil set up for another angle. And
Corey, they're showing you why they invested into this round now. It has been lights out. Only 4 damage done. And that's the Pure Penguins.
Yeah, I feel like they would have been in a very similar situation because the only thing what I was looking for is to see nades or grenades in their inventory, but they're you're seeing players like Devil. He doesn't have head armor. I don't know. I'm trying to remember everything that they had in going into the third round. But right now, they're having a very successful CT side right now in this first real gun round.
I'm pretty sure they had MP7s across the board.
Yeah.
So if that gives you any inclination where they're at. And Pure Penguins made the rotation and finds the final pick to close it out. 3-1. That was the first gun round we've seen, and now we're going to see that utility on the side for Kansas State here.
Yeah, I think the only major detail, as I linger on it just a little bit longer, is the fact that I don't think that Nat could, or anybody, any one of the teammates could have bought an AWP. I think the rest of the team, I think they would have been fine. I just don't think they would have been able to buy an AWP. All right, so 3-1 now in favor of Kansas State. And we see the mollies coming out. These are the nade sets that I was talking about that I was trying to pay attention to. As you can see, it's going to start to delay certain areas in case there is any aggressive pushes and things like that. That's one of the things that you want to do. If you know you're playing against a very aggressive team, you try to get down those smokes and flashes, get those smokes and mollies down as fast as possible, because then it's an absolute deterrent. It changes the tempo of the game for that team that's used to being aggressive. And that's what you want. And so it slows them down. We can see they're all basically hunkered down inside a lobby, except for one player, which is ASOS. ASOS has made his way already all the way through Secret. Now, there's a gap in the mix for both of these teams. They don't know that Pure Penguins is flanking, and they also don't know that that is ASOS is flanking. And so now he's going to be, there you go, 2 taps. And tries to find him at third. He could have gotten a little deeper, but he didn't need to. I mean, it could have gone either way if you look at it. Now they're going to be able to be aggressive. That's Devil has picked up 1. And now it's left up to Adolfo. While we were talking a moment ago, ASOS does get taken out from the outside. And so, and that round is going to go to Kansas State. Another solid round coming in here for them.
Perhaps that's the problem of having someone go so deep as ASOS wasn't able to catch the flank, and then Pure Peng was able to just basically close out that round by finding those first 2 opening picks, as that has allowed his team to swing in and find some trades, which led to the 4th round on the board for them now. As we see, pistols only outs for UTD as they start making their way towards that B ramp, and it is completely shut down. And look at that grenade damage. Ouch.
Oh no, ASOS stepped a little too close, or an Ember decided to jump forward. And there you go, Pure Penguin taking out the last 4. And Miles says, "Oh yeah, it is hot. Okay, cool. Yeah." So that's the thing about mollies or center grenades is, sometimes you'll see them like just slightly jump forward. Their fire is very organic. It moves around a lot. And ASOS, he was already low on health because of the grenade. So there you go. There's the mollies, slowing down any pressure that they might see. And Knack is on the outside now, watching on top of Marshmallow. And they'll have Secret again. Knack might find one, as they actually fall back. They supported their teammate. Again, that was ASOS. ASOS made his way towards Secret. So we'll pay attention to that one. Adolfo has won his fight there over towards Ramp Room. But ASOS is going to be lurking around now. And the bomb carrier might actually be heading here towards the upper bomb site. As Adolfo is trying to provide some support for ASOS. And here comes the execute. And Knack trying to get up to the ladder quickly so he can be able to provide even further support. And now he's going to be the LMS 1-on-3. And that nade's going to do a little damage, but not a lot. And Knack is KZing his way down, as he was waiting for a pop flash to happen. And it never came. And ASOS was there to finish off the round 5-2 now in favor of Kansas State.
Corey, I'm trying to dissect what happened there in that round. I wasn't able to really follow along. It just seems like we saw multiple trades coming through, which just went in the favor of UTD. Obviously, they got to the site. They took the player down in heaven, which they had numbers, in which, once again, we saw a lot of pictures happening, and they were able to come out on top. So that would be number 2 on the board for UTD as they start to make their way towards Secret from
So
outside,
clean.
and no smokes is able to just make his way freely as Knack finds Alloy. 0-7, not having the best game, and wow, look at that.
Just a sliver all the way from CT spawn.
Smallest little bit, but there is ASOS picking up Pure Penguin on that B bomb site, or excuse me, just outside of it. Now we see some rotation. Now Rob is finding his way towards a B ramp, and he gets taken out quickly by White KZ. Devil wants to see if he can push his way towards lobby, as Miles holding the B site solo. Is not even on the site yet. Is poking through. He's going to shoot through the windows. Is able to find one. YKZ just runs, but it's actually ASOS to get the kill, as Devil and Knack working their way from the ramp now, as there's a one smoke going down. The bomb's being planted behind. Oh, had his crosshair set. Just moved at the last second, it seems like. You see the bullet just barely missing. It's going to get the grenade on. It's going to do a good amount of damage, 25. And we see Devil actually falling off to the site now. So if he pushes through this door, he's going to have one player in YKZ waiting for him. And, oh, actually isn't able to connect either of them, and now he shoots again. YKZ is going to fight this time.
Yeah,
and
that's a big no-no. You know that you're going to lose your life there.
YKZ just running through the fire, doesn't mind. And as we saw, Devil fell off that site very early and is now back in spawn, as we'll see him come back in the same exact place. And ASOS actually looking to get a little spicy here. Wants to hunt him down, and ASOS is going to come out on top of that one. Despite having the positioning, he finds 3 kills in the round for himself. Now it's 5-3 in favor of in Kansas State.
Yeah, UTD is they found all the holes, and they found them quick. You can look at it over there to the outside. They're not being challenged at all. The fact that last round that ASOS was able to get to Secret without being challenged at all, but this time there's going to be an outside attack. Here it comes, as they've got all the nades rain in, and Rob says, I'll go ahead and take down ASOS for us as well, and there you go. That's a quick counter to what's been going on in these previous rounds. And YKZ holding down inside of lobby. There's, and Devil's already there. And he's, they're trying to get Stretch Armstrong. He does reach, he does not reach it.
Oh man, that was a 5-person surviving eco round.
Yeah, all 5 of them alive, and so Kansas State picking up that one. That's something for you.
They got 3 AKs from that. That has to hurt. Oh, did I just see that right? Is that 4 ADR for Alloy? Ooh, yikes. Yeah, that sure is.
Tickling people.
Yeah, sure is. Seems like he's just hit them with the grenades physically. And there's Adolfo getting very far forward. And now, as you mentioned it, Corey, they wanted to go outside, and Kansas State says, well, if you're going to go outside, we're going to meet you there. They're now pushing forward, and that's 3 kills for him already in the round as Pure Penguin. It's all down to ASOS.
Which is not going outside, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, the one player who didn't. And we've actually talked about that a few times in this tournament, is that when one player doesn't quite go with their team.
Which is his role.
Yeah, I was just about to, thank you, Corey, for getting ahead of me there, but you exactly called it out right. Is ASOS, we see him many times, he's done the opposite of what his team has found, and well, it seems like he might come out of victorious. He's got himself 3 on the board, and Pure Penguin's just holding down towards Secret. He's got the angle, he's got the health advantage. But we've seen this before. ASOS able to win the gunfight. He's got 1 minute to try and make this happen as the bomb is down. They're both looking at it. I feel like ASOS has got a feeling. No, he actually doesn't at all. Pure Penguin able to just shoot him nicely in the back, and that's a 4K from Pure Penguin. And now a timeout coming out for the side of Kansas State.
Interesting. They're probably trying to decide. I mean, they, of course, now they lost 4 players in that secession, so now they're trying to decide, well, what do we do? Do we try to be aggressive? Do we continue to lock down the outside or not?
It seems like everywhere that Pure Penguins has gone, he's had success, sitting on 14 kills to his name.
Yeah, you can see them questioning it. That's
Oh, we see the
there. It is. You saw the AUG get dropped, and I'm probably assuming Devil's waiting for a weapon somewhere. Hasn't bought anything. Hasn't bought. Uh-oh.
In the hands of Knack.
There it is. Now he's got. Yeah, just hit his one button that bought everything.
I was about to say, we see him go every time he goes outside
of
that.
Quick rush now. Here's going to be coming here towards. They drop towards lower. It is completely open now, and they've worked their way in there. The bomb carrier's already made it down. Their bomb is already planted, so that's a successful round thus far for UTD. And we'll see if they can find some. Oh, Deagle from YKZ, the Yakuza. And he's just behind the wall there, behind that turbine, or whatever you want to call that big nuclear thing.
That's what I'm going to call it from now on. I don't know what it's called either, so that's the perfect call out, and they're able to get the round is Kansas State. 8-3. Like you said, a successful round already, though, for UTD. It was an eco, so they were able to get the bomb down, and at least 2 players down on the side of Kansas State. So we saw Neck. So one thing I want to point out about that round, even though it was a rush towards vents and quickly going down to the B bumps, we saw Neck, actually just starting the round with 30 HP gone.
Yeah, stab in the back from your teammates. That's what happens.
So now we see him towards that outside position. We saw him go towards B ramp. Didn't work out for him, but now he's going back to the position he's familiar with. Seems like a default once again. Is nice pickup there from Knack, and that's on ASOS. As we mentioned, the one guy who doesn't stick with the team.
Yeah, ASOS took a different route that time. And you can see why Knack was able to punish him. And let's see. So Knack is, yep, he's rotated back here towards his CT position now. Let's see, as the YKZ is advancing here towards the ramp room. The bomb has now been picked up. So now Knack, again, he rotated from the CT. He's going to support Mild here. So Knack's going to make the first shot. Oh, but he's not. He's completely blind. And now over the top, and Mild just still doesn't win about there. That was, man. Mild was waiting for the op shot, and it just never came. And so now Knack has had to rotate back. He's fallen all the way back, but here's some players. There's already around the corner. He doesn't know that there's another one here. He tries to take out the bomb. Oh, my goodness. YKZ did not support his teammate. And Pure Penguins, of course, almost shoots out his own teammate. But now there it is. Knack picking up this one, and here comes the defuse. Man.
Which team sent us the over to? It was UTD that sent us the nuke. As I look at my sheet here, seems like Kansas State absolutely feeling comfortable here on the CT side. We have talked about it. This is a CT sided map.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Just to be able to call it, even though it's 9-3, it just takes one round to shift everything. So we'll see. Now here comes the smoke. Let's see. Now K-State's done a really good job of adjusting their play style here. And now ASOS has got by again, and Pure Penguins right there. And that's a good fight between those two. Pure Penguins getting there quickly and winning that conflict. And now he can fall away. He doesn't have to be worried about Secret anymore. But what in fact he actually should be. And Adolfo didn't pop his parachute in time. And yes, I know there's no parachute in Counter-Strike.
Well, there is actually, just in another game mode.
Yeah, terrible game mode.
I've never actually played it.
It is so bad.
All right, I will stay far away from it. So we see Sirtrix making his way towards the B bomb site. Doesn't have bomb in hand, and it's in the hands of Eldafo. As UTD trying to regather their thoughts. Had ASOS found that pick onto Pure Penguin, we could be seeing a different round, but that is what difference one gunfight can make.
Yeah, and if you're looking at it from UTD's perspective right now, John, is the fact is there's 4 players alive. We see that Pure Penguins is down to 2 HP. And so this looks like a really difficult position to be in. It still looks like a 3-on-2 to them. And there you go. That's why it's a 3-on-2, because Pure Penguins is still alive.
Oh, he got the bomb. Okay, well, he fell immediately after, but I'm sure they'll be happy to find that he had the bomb. As now they're getting the defuse. That's 10-3 in favor of Kansas State. That is round number 13 in the books. So last time we saw them go outside, Corey, we saw the smokes, we saw the flashes. Knack wasn't able to make the impact, but Penguin was. We saw winning that fight against ASOS and changing the tempo of the round here for UTDs. They're going to have to try and find a strategy to work with now as we see Molotovs blocking them off from that A site.
Well, what our observer was trying to call out to us is the utility damage for Pure Penguins is at 455 total for this map so far. That's insane.
Wasn't he the one who threw the Molotov in which they all ran into?
Yeah, that's actually a valid statement. They did hang out for a little bit. Oh man.
In the midst of all that, we saw a wild just 5v fight gun bout there on the A site, in which came down to a 1v1 that Eldafo wasn't able to come out top. And there you see, yeah, the 455. I think that's a lot to do with the Molotov that we saw. 181 on the side of Knack. Probably from, we saw a grenade that did a lot of damage
I think that's what it was.
B-side.
I think it was the grenade, because I think the Molly barely touched, I think it was ASOS.
Okay. So yeah, it might have been the grenade, but regardless, that's a lot of damage as Knack finds ASOS again. I think he was on the top of Marshmallow, and Pure Penguin just pushing out, and okay, they have got full control of this CT side.
What I love about what just happened, it's the little details. So Knack actually shoots the op shot because Pure Penguins was getting close to his opponent, which at that point just changes the mindset there. You weren't expecting a quick player to be there, and so now it's left up to Sirtrix. He is the last one. And now he's even tougher, and there's the spray there. He's going to have to worry about multiple angles, and it's 12-3 for Kansas State. Yeah, looking at it, it looked, and for a little bit, we were at a point where it was getting closer. It was 3-3 at one point. And the executes were happening was the fact that ASOS was getting through towards the outside. He was getting down to Secret, and there was just no one there challenging him. And what I like about what Kansas State did is Knack had changed his position. Pure Penguin started to be aggressive, heading towards Secret from the ramp room. And so then they really started challenging him, and that's where we saw some different rounds there. Now you've got them working towards the outside. There's one player that's going to be heading here. That was Pure Penguin. He was lurking about there towards ramp room. He does get taken out. Now they are watching this push on top, so there's about to be some quick kills coming in. As there it is. There's going to be Alloy. Alloy's going to get dropped. And ASOS coming in. Ooh, nice shot. Can he do it again? Just barely. Yeah, that's actually ASOS. I take that back. ASOS was further away. I thought we were on board. I just was watching the kill feed. And so now we've got Rob by himself. Rob is, he spots one up into the rafters. Oh, he wins that one. Oh, can he do? Oh, no, Sirtrix. And so UTD will pick up the pistol round.
Did they pick up the first pistol round, or did they?
They did not.
Okay. So UTD getting some momentum for themselves. And what we saw last time when we began this map, Corey, the team that won the pistol round was the CT side, and they bought the MP7s, in which they did not invest the following round, so that the following round after that one, round number 4, they could have the AWPs and weaponry for themselves, as we're seeing a pause here. And Alloy, something to point out here, he was one of those players I said we need to keep an eye on that AWP. Looks very strong against the likes of FGCU, but in this server hasn't showed up quite yet. 0 and 15 is his score line. They'll be going against pistols this round. His ADR is 7 after 16 rounds.
So this is a technical pause. So we have we're currently working through some issues right now. There's some mic issues that they're fixing on the UTD side. So we will wait for them to get things in play. But as you can take a look here, just really a lot of rounds too where they had their players were still left alive. It almost looked as if, as you get into rounds 11 through 13, that's where we started to see them getting the bomb planted in the B-bomb site, and so they were trying to do their best to win those rounds. But man, a lot of rounds in a row that came in for Kansas State. This is a CT-sided map. There's no question on that. The only time that it becomes a T-sided map is whenever you start to like 1 or 2 gun rounds are won by the T side, because to be effective on the CT side is having ops and other things high priority there. And here comes the aggressive push here. There's going to be that's the MP9 coming out for YKZ, and in the air as Devil picks him off, and now he's going to be just caught out there in the open, and UTD picking up another round here.
There we have it. So we'll have to see. It seems like our observer's getting very excited that Alloy's found his first kills into the round. As we check it out again, so as you see the teams running through the Molotovs there, Alloy actually finding 2 picks there, as we see YKZ finding another 2.
Yeah, that's I was so focused on the success of what's been happening for Kansas State, I didn't pay attention to the demise of what Alloy went through for the first half.
Oh, okay. Adolfo getting to a tricky fight. They're actually getting down to 12. Should have had that one, but is able to come out on top. So that slows down the player towards Secret. That grenade's going to go out. It's going to find 4 players. And oh, my goodness, Alloy's come alive now. The grenade support was enough, and Knack getting caught with his utility out, but Alloy finds 3 in the round. He is absolutely online in this second half. Starting to pick up the pace now. An immediate timeout called there from Kansas State. Corey, this is what you talked about. You had to win multiple gun rounds on the sides of the T's, and they haven't been able to do it once yet so far this half. We've only seen 1 gun round so
we've
far.
only seen 1, yeah. So, and even that, I would say it's probably a little bit of a stretch because the bomb was never planted and so forth.
And so the point I was going to make there is that with this being 3 rounds in a row with another pistol round to come out, if UTD is able to save this round or do enough damage this round without taking on their side, they're going to start building up that bank. So you talked about getting 2 solid gun rounds out. They might have to even battle through more, depending on how this shakes up.
Yeah, we'll see. So Kansas State, see what they've got in store for us here in this eco. More than likely, heading towards ramp room. And there's the smoke. So they've actually spread throughout the map here too. And Rob got pretty far before ASOS was there. So Mild is backtracked a little bit further, possibly going to regroup with his teammates here in a bit. But the outside is actually being watched by 2 players. You got 1 player that's actually on a quick rotate. That is ASOS, who he can be able to watch 2 different angles at the same time. YKZ didn't have his crosshairs in the right placement. And Pure Penguin, he's still trying to win this fight here in ramp room. The bomb carrier, Devil, and his teammate Pure Penguins are together, and Knack are together. Now they decide to go ahead and head here towards the ramp room, but they do not know that Alloy is on the other side, and here's the full spray. Oh, and he steps back out into the Tech 9 of Knack. And so another round coming in here, but Alloy trying to stat pad, so by the end of this game, he looks a little bit better than the way that it was working earlier.
Now we see the AWP coming out for the first time on the side of UTD. It's not in the hands of Alloy. It's actually to that of YKZ. Makes sense to me. We've seen YKZ actually going towards the site. We're seeing him go now in Garage. He's been playing that outside position as Pure Penguins misses the jump, but is able to get back up, decides, you know, I missed it, I don't want it anymore. As we're seeing the smoke setup coming through in just a moment here from Kansas State. So if YKZ can have an impact in this position that we saw NAC have, this will be a difficult half for Kansas State. As we see Tricks actually going down in that B ramp site, or excuse me, that B ramp position. Alloy still, or that's ASOS. It looks like, okay, let's see here. That 8, that is Alloy, is holding that position. We saw him earlier. The smokes have gone down outside now, forcing YKZ out of position. And Rob's actually going to make his way into the garage where YKZ was planted. Still running as YKZ. He's not going to be found, as it looks like he's trying to make his way safely as Mild is picked up, and that's ASOS picking up Rob now. That means the opening on the B ramp, as Alloy was the other player on that side, and Pure Penguins finding ASOS now. It's a 4v2. Oh my goodness, he didn't click the button. He clicked the wrong button there, and he switches guns. And now Pure Penguins know exactly where he's at. He's going to call it the AWP. Eldolfo actually comes in with the support, so he would bail out his teammate. As this looks to be round number 13 on the board for Kansas State. NAC decides, you know what, I'm pretty good with that op. I want to see if I can find one for myself. He's going to push forward. He's going to see him, but he's not going to take the shot wisely. Doesn't want to reveal that he's there. He saw one running there. He's going to call for his teammates and says, let's go hunt and let's see what we can find. They still have utility in their hands if they want to try to push forward. They don't have very much time to do it. That grenade's going to do some damage. Actually, it does not. It doesn't even reach. So there are the flash grenades coming out, and actually it's from UTD using their flash grenades trying to prevent the push coming through as NAC gets taken down there after the bomb explodes, and that does spell round number 13 on the board. 13-7 in favor of Kansas State, as we're seeing rifles come out once again, as you'd suspect to see for that side. And Corey, this is what you were talking about. They're going to have to get through 2 rifle rounds to try and break that CT side. Penguins this time does not miss the jump, gets far forward, and is spotted by ASOS, and ASOS quickly falls off the angle. I'll be curious to see how they hold that B ramp position now, as last time they were completely opened up. As they found the 1 pick onto Tricks, and then another pick onto Alloy, and they know that those are the 2 players that play there predominantly. YKZ's actually changed his positioning on over to Secrets. They did not smoke this position. Oh, he sees the head, but he doesn't find the shot. They now know the AWP's there, so they know he is not in garage. They go running through. Mini and Rob finds the first pickup. Eldolfo's on site. That's actually going to be the bomb going down. He's going to find another one, but Rob takes him out again. The support from Alloy on Heaven's going to find 2, and it's going to leave it down to a 2v2. 1 HP on the Pure Penguins, and it leaves it to Alloy, the man who was struggling this hatch. This map is not going to be able to find out the clutch, and it's 14-7. And as Corey, you mentioned it, the 2 gun rounds that Kansas State's going to have to win to break the economy. They have done so, and the economy's not looking great. Eldolfo kept some extra money in his bank, but the rest of his team's got nothing to work with.
Yeah, you can see right here with Mild, there's some really good team shooting that just happened there at the end, where NAC drew a little bit of attention because they played that extremely well. 14-7. Now we see the Deagles coming out. No utility, but oh, the trade. Tricks does cause the damage. ASOS. That was in, I think, lobby, and Eldolfo's there too. And so now, oh, just barely over the shoulder. And Devil's going to retreat into some other action. That was Alloy. And now YKZ 1-on-2. Good Deagles eco so far. Might be able to find himself a weapon if he wants it. He's going to go ahead and make the assessment that they're going to go down towards lower now. And they are. So that's a good assessment here. He's going to try to get all the way down. Yep, perfect area. And the bomb is going to plant it. He's going to open the door late, and there was smoked off. He's going to peek out in the open and get taken down by Devil. Good attempt by YKZ. It's another round coming in here for Kansas State. Kansas State has been they've had control over this game. This may be the first time that we don't see a #1 seed advance in the upper part of the bracket. And so UTD may have a tough road ahead of them in the lower bracket. But there's still rounds to be played. It is a CT-sided map, and they do have at least the weapons that they can do work with. Now, there are 3 players that do not have head armor, and YKZ is going to fall. Looks like ASOS may have actually accidentally did some damage to YKZ earlier in the round. And here he goes. There's the spray as Sir Trix has really good control over that recoil. Now left up to Knack and Pure Penguins. Pure Penguins finding the lurk from ASOS. And there's the peek. Oh, great flash for himself. Helps himself out. Can he finish it? And there's that one. And now it's down to Alloy. Or, sorry, Adolfo as Alloy is taken out. Yep. And Adolfo holding the choke point. He's got 2 angles to worry about. Picks up 1. Now Pure Penguins down to 13 HP. Adolfo wanting to extend this game. And Pure Penguins says, you know what? I know exactly where you're located at. And he ends up going towards the upper bomb side. Now you're going to see the rotate. Adolfo's probably going to consider, oh, he does not. He's going to go towards the vent side. Here comes the molly. And that's going to go ahead and oh, no, he peeks out through it. And Pure Penguins shuts it down. 16-7 is going to be the score there for Kansas State. And what a game. Coming up there in the end for Kansas State. Kansas State won their first match of the day. They won that one pretty decisively as well. As I realized I didn't write that as simple information down on my on my pad here. I've got all the other details in full stack. So if you want to just give me a second, I'm going to count this out. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so there you have it. 16-7 for Kansas State. They will advance into the playoffs over UTD. This is the first time. We've had 8 days. This was 10, but I guess I'm going to do this. We had 8 days of group play, as this will be the very first time that we actually see a team that was not the #1 seed go advance into the playoffs through the upper round. So Kansas State will actually now be playing against versus St. Clair College as well, as Jono is just waiting for me to see if I
was thinking your ears were still ringing since I screamed it to you earlier.
Yep, that's all I hear is the ringing.
You're very welcome, Corey.
So there you have it. But let's kind of take, looking at it, Kansas State just played their game. It really seemed like they weren't really had any major conflict, except for, I take that back. There was a moment, and one of the things I really appreciated, because this is something that we haven't seen a whole lot of, is a team adapting. Right, so ASOS was heading there towards the outside. They took over outside control on Nuke, and heading down towards Secret, and they found a solution, and it is actually a 2-part solution where they had Knack adjusting his angle slightly a little bit here and there, but then you also had Pure Penguins who adjusted and pushed there towards Secret as well to challenge there a little bit faster. And so that's where they started making those adjustments, because there was absolutely an opening because the way of it. Knack was watching the outside by himself. So huge kudos to to Kansas State for making that adjustment early enough there on the CT side.
And one thing I wanted to call out, Corey, is that we actually didn't see a counter adjustment, because ASOS, every time they put Penguin against him, he lost. Pure Penguin coming out, I think, on top almost 100% of the time there. Instead of ASOS just flanking around or trying to find anything solo, I think he should have regrouped with his team, try to take a site with all 5 people versus 4, and then ASOS fighting around. And as we saw before, we saw that with some of the other players in this tournament, like Febreze, like that's just how they've been utilized before, and they don't really know anything else. Maybe they haven't practiced anything else, but in a situation like that where he's getting shut down time and time and time over by one player in the same position or a similar position, I think at that point that calls for a new change of pace.
Yeah, they tried to do one thing. It just was not successful either. They actually sent 4 players outside, and they all got taken completely apart. And then ASOS was by himself. I think he was over towards the ramp room for a little bit, and then we just saw him lurk a little bit. So they tried a couple things, but none of them were effective. I also go back to the fact that Kansas State, they had a full nade stack that went towards the outside, was the initial counter. That was what they initially started off with, was like, you know what, we're losing rounds on the outside. All right, here we go. Bunch of nades flying their way on the outside, and they picked up 3, I think, on the outside that fast. So that's how that one ended up. So Kansas State taking this one against UTD. Really good games from these guys, and so we'll see. We'll be seeing them in the playoffs, and of course their very first matchup is against St. Clair College. So John, any other takeaways you have from that game?
Well, I just think that was a very important match for this group, namely just because RMU, as we mentioned, they're the #1 seed in this whole bracket throughout this entire tournament, not just the bracket we saw, but this entire tournament. And so, out of if UTDs wants to make it out now of this bracket that we're watching, they're gonna have to go through the lower bracket,
Let's
and
take
then
a look
when
at
they
it
win,
too. Yep.
as you mentioned, yeah. So UTD's now in the lower bracket finals, and if they advance out of there, the winner of that will face RMU, and that is
Yeah.
absolutely a tough task ahead of them.
Yeah, so I mean, our top part of the upper bracket in the playoffs is going to be rough. It's which means we're going to have some really good games early. But if you look at it right now, you got 16-7 there for Kansas State. They advance into the playoffs. But then on the flip side, our next matchup is going to be Florida Gulf Coast University. They face off against UTA. And so Florida Gulf Coast, they'll have to face off against 2 Texas teams. More importantly, they'll have to face against 2 North Texas teams. And so they've got a possible unique road. I want to say a tough road. They've got both of those matches are going to be really good competitions, though.
To call that out, we have seen this before.
Yep.
It was
Oklahoma.
It was Oklahoma, where it was Oklahoma State and Tulsa was the Oklahoma gauntlet to run through.
Yep.
I believe Tulsa came out on top of that.
Yeah, while we're waiting here to talk with one of the players, let's take a look at the actual playoff bracket if we've got it too, and so we can kind of get a little update as well of where we're at for that.
So to correct myself, it was the Miami University of Ohio. They lost their first map in the losers finals against Tulsa 16-14, and then they skunked them 16-2 and 16-1.
Yeah, so we can see right now, as you mentioned, so they did make their way through into the tournament through Oklahoma. But this is taking a look now that things have started to be updated. So RMU still waiting for that second team or the final team to join the bracket. But you got UConn versus Michigan Tech University. That will be happening on tomorrow. Something it's just weird to say now. So playoffs will be tomorrow. Then you got VCU versus Drexel, Kennesaw versus Purdue, and then on the bottom side of the bracket you've got Rochester versus University of Alabama and Huntsville, and then Northeastern versus Pitt, and then UCF versus Miami University, Ohio, and then Kansas State versus St. Clair. Now, the times that are there, they may adjust. We'll be talking with some of the teams today. There's of course, scheduling is always a thing. We wanted to be mindful of that. This is a pretty tough bracket, but because all of those matches all happen tomorrow. There's no wait for the next day or anything like that. Every single one of those matches happens tomorrow. And so we'll already know who's going to be advanced through. All right, so we saw some really very interesting tactics that happened through the game. We saw ASOS. He had a conflict that happened, and that was Pure Penguins. We've got Pure Penguins that is actually joining us here as well. And, you only have one of them on.
Oh, he's got a shirt on.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh
cool.
yeah,
all right.
this is the game time hat. And
Okay,
then the other
copy.
hat comes on after the game because my hair just gets messed up.
For
you know?
sure. No, appreciate it. Awesome. Well, hey, you had a really good game, and what I really was paying attention to as well was whenever ASOS had a good start. He was controlling the secret, and then he found a conflict, and that was Penguins there in secret. So huge shout out and congratulations to your team for making in there. So let's kind of talk about it a little bit. How did your team feel in map 1 of the day, where you guys were facing off against UTA? We'll start there on Mirage. Kind of talk us through how comfortable you guys were.
Mirage has actually been one of the maps that has always been a little bit of a struggle for us, especially been my fault on A site, locking that down. But recently we've been kind of working on that map a lot. And I've been getting stronger on the A site, learning how not to die quickly. And I think right now our Mirage is pretty solid, and we were going into that game expecting to win. The Nuke game against UTD was the tough game of the day, and because the last time we played them on Nuke, we started off real bad. They dominated us on CT side, and then we just couldn't get anything going on our CT.
Yes.
And so going into that, we were very looking for Nuke's one of our favorite maps, and so we were definitely looking for payback today.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. So we'll be looking at that as well. We're paying attention to. We've been jotting down everyone's map pick bands as well, and trying to make our own assessments of what we see there. So it's a good call out as you guys have been developing and becoming stronger on a map like Mirage. That's interesting to hear though, because Nuke is such a CT sided map, or if you're on the T side and you can break the economy from the CTs. And so, but you guys really did adjust pretty well going into it. I think there was one as well. We saw that you guys elected to save in the third round. And so we saw you guys won on the CT side, and then you elected to save, or not necessarily, let me rephrase that. You elected to not upgrade. They're going into the third round.
Oh yeah, take the lobby crunch on CT side.
Exactly.
That's a fun round to do.
Yeah, so there you go. So you saw the adjustment that happened there. Kind of talk us through. Let John ask a couple more questions here.
So one of the main questions I want to just focus on is that you were just dominating ASOS, as Corey mentioned. He started off hot, and then every single time that there was an altercation between you two, you came out on top. Do you feel like you had his number, and do you feel like that kind of shut down the side of UTD, just you solely finding that first pick on him?
I don't think it was my. When we learned that they were only putting one person down in secret early on in the round, doing the outside smokes. Normally, if you go against that fight against like 3 people, like what I was doing against ASOS, doesn't work out too well. So a lot of the adjustment on Nuke has been me not going down and taking those fights. But during that game, we realized that he was going alone, and so it was like I can go back to my old stuff and just that's my favorite thing to do is just drop vent early and fight for that secret control.
That's a great call out. That's something that absolutely consider. So we kind of could take a look what about what we saw from the game as well with the replay, and kind of talk us through a little bit of what you'd seen from this round. Where again you'd actually, I think you picked up what was shared to me is you picked up the ace in the very final round.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that round was how did we even? That was outside.
Yep.
Down to B, right?
Yep, down to B, and then you were in a one-on-one with Adolfo, and you took the bomb up towards up to the upper bomb site and mollied off the vent.
Yeah. Earlier on in the round, it was like I was holding for vent control because we knew there was only one guy on B site, and so we had 2 guys going out through the double door onto B site, and they both got taken down by the guy on the rafter. It's a very hard position to get somebody out of, and then it was like a 2 versus 3, and then I had Noah coming down the secret behind me. And so I was like, I got to get control of this bomb while the guy's still isolated by himself on the site. So I did the pop flash from the door, got the bomb, did not expect the guy to be out ramped so quickly. And that was the close part of the round with the P250.
Yeah, I love the flashbang that you threw to be able to get 2 lower, though. That was the solid pop for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Those are good flashbangs. You can throw one from each side, double door or decon,
right?
Whichever one you go to. It's a good pop flash. Get out there. Yeah, and then once we got up vent, had that molly out. I was planning on just mollying the vents off, and then he's got to either wait at the vents out and then come up late, or he's got to wrap through secret. And I was going to go outside to heaven to defend the bomb, but he just tried to go through the molly, and that didn't end well for him.
Absolutely. So I have to ask the strong questions, the tough ones. Why penguins?
Ooh. Oh, why penguins? Why not penguins? I mean, come on. The shirt. Keep calm and be yourself. Unless you can be a penguin, then you always be a penguin.
Well, where did penguins start for you? How long have you been going by the name Pure Penguins as well?
Well, 2nd grade is when I started my love for penguins.
All right.
I got my penguin pajamas on too. It ended up being like the only animal that I could really draw in art class.
Okay.
And so I just kind of got fascinated with them, and then.
All right.
The pure part of my name comes from Modern Warfare 2 Trickshot Clan.
Okay.
And
all right.
I was actually
naturally.
X Pure Destroy back then.
Okay.
But then when I migrated over to PC, I brought the penguins into the picture.
Awesome. So I'm gonna have a request from you then. I'm gonna need you to draw a penguin for us, and we'll retweet it on Esports Stadium Arlington. All right.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. So
see how excited he is. Oh, I can
my artistic skills though are I'm not known for those.
All right. So
let's just leave it at that. We'll get you a good penguin.
Let's see what other flair, what other things we don't want it to just be a penguin. What else we want to add to this?
Oh dear.
Oh,
again, like I said, I could only draw penguins.
What's your favorite gun in Counter-Strike?
It got to be the AK, I suppose, just because I
How about
practice
this?
the most
How
with
about how about 5 penguins that are all terrorists?
it. 5 penguins that are all terrorists. And
Or
they're
or
just doming kids.
let's do this. We'll do 5 CTs. All right.
Oh gosh.
5 CT penguins, and then we'll retweet it once you're done with it. So send us at Esports Stadium, and then we'll retweet it and basically share it on all of our fans as well. So, Pure Penguins, appreciate you. Have any other comments or things you want to share?
I would just like to thank my team because I mean they really provide the structure around that allows me. I play not I play a strange style of Counter Strike, I guess,
Yep.
and it's high risk, high reward.
Yep,
And
exactly.
they really put up with that, and they give me the structure and the environment where I can make those plays and feel comfortable. Because if I don't make them, I know that my team's going to come up and clean up. And I just Rob puts in so much time outside of the game, just going over strats and things like that. Like I couldn't ask for a better team.
Let's go, Rob.
That's right. Yeah, we have a Rob on our team as well here at the Esports.
Oh yeah.
Stadium, so. Who puts in a lot of time as well. So Pure Penguins, appreciate you. Thanks for hopping in here with us. We'll be seeing you tomorrow. That's where we kick off the playoffs, and so we'll be talking about that. I'll be reaching out to your team as well because we'll probably adjust the schedule a little bit about what time you're playing. But are you guys in school right now too, or have you wrapped up your exams?
Finals week next week.
Next week.
This week's kind of dead week. Projects and stuff due.
Got it.
But Counter-Strike over everything, right?
In some sense, I'll agree with yes and no. All right, it's your
yes and no. That's fair.
Yes and no. But yeah, kudos to you guys again. Congratulations for making it into the playoffs. We'll be seeing more Kansas State tomorrow. What a series of just really 2 good maps coming in from Kansas State there. And proving themselves that they do deserve to be the #1 team coming out of this Group H.
And we called it. We said that this might be the first time we see the first seed falling down to the lower seed in their bracket. And that's exactly that. Kansas State proving that they had the extra edge today. And I think that was a great call-up by Penguin is when they went on Nuke last time against UTD, they said they struggled a little bit, and it was all about the CT side and getting some momentum for themselves.
Yep.
I think they came out really strong in this match, and UTD just found themselves flustered and maybe a little bit confused on how they wanted to proceed. But on the flip side, it was it was the CT side that was the catalyst because we were talking about that.
Yep.
And so that one finishing 16-8 in the favor of Kansas State. They will move on to fight St. Clair tomorrow. I think that was the very last game on the list. So that will be a late game tomorrow, but they'll have plenty of time.
Again, that's the time that we're actually probably going to adjust
tentatively,
yeah,
but
so
it will still be the very last game.
It will not be the very last game.
It will not?
We will adjust times.
Okay, well, excuse me.
That's why
on the graphic it was the very last game, and we will.
As I stated,
understand
we'll
why you're saying
we'll be adjusting times. So, but all matches will happen tomorrow
at some point.
But one will happen at certain different times. We'll be adjusting that part.
That could be a very long day for us, Corey.
It will not necessarily. It will not be 2 hours later. We'll be swapping times.
Right. So, I'm saying if everything goes to that way, if we don't see overtimes tomorrow, we've been talking about we haven't seen overtime yet. If we're fortunate to see overtime tomorrow in some means, then yeah, we were going to have a long day.
Yeah.
But we got to get through today before we can get to tomorrow. Isn't that right?
That's right. So coming up here, we've got our first best of 3 for the day. We're in the loser bracket, round 1. That's going to be against UTA and Florida. Gulf Coast University. That's going to be coming up after the break, and we'll see who's going to be taking that one in the end, and they'll be advancing to be able to face off against UTD. So there you have it. Kansas State moving on in our next matchup coming up after this.